Hello, my dear chess friends. Today I'm going to cover a little bit of the New Zealand Chess Congress, which is basically the New Zealand Chess Championship that started today. It's gonna last for I think 9 days because it's nine rounds, and yeah, I'll try to do a little bit of a coverage every day of that event. I also would like to really to cover some of the we can chat, we can solve tactics in the meantime as well. I will cover some of the openings there as you see, but it looks like this it starts 2 p.m. our time, but I believe that there is a delay, 30-minute delay as usual for the big championships and for FIDE events. So they didn't really start to broadcast even though the games have already started. So we'll wait a bit, probably like 30 minutes, can solve tactics in the meantime, etc. And then, yeah, we'll just go and look into the games. Usually, chess championship for New Zealand is conducted during summertime here in the beginning of January. And this time it is in Wellington, which is our capital. I'm located in Auckland, so it is a different city for me to go to. So I don't really participate this year. And frankly, I have never participated in the chess congress because it's usually taking place in different cities, and you need to go there for like 9 days, etc. If it's held in Auckland, I'll probably take a part at some point. I couldn't do it when it was last time there just because of my work circumstances. So yeah, now I'm anxiously waiting for this kind of opportunity to start. Okay, what else? The as you see, there's the regulation there of the time control. Apart from the classical rounds, there will be also, I think, blitz tournaments after. So this time control is 90 minutes plus 30 seconds per move increment, and 30 minutes after move 40. So they want to make the quality of the games to lift it higher. Therefore, you will be given 30 more minutes from move 40 to go to the end game, which is also kind of fair stuff. Okay, in the meantime, if they didn't really start, I would just have a glimpse at my Discord. I'll probably like drop a link to my um, Twitch, um, and I wouldn't really open that one, but I would like to go to Discord and just post a link there that I'm going to be covering the event. I needed to do that before, but yeah, it was just a spontaneous decision because I saw that the games were about to start. And here we go. So let me just check the uh, New Zealand League Discord general chat. Okay, and I will be doing some covering there as well. Okay. For NZ Chess Grace on. Alright, so I just posted the link here and we will see how it all goes. Right now I need to turn off this thing, and in the meantime I'm gonna be looking at this side, but I was preparing to do is just I started to solve some tactics yesterday and day after, so there were two of them, the two puzzles that are left, and I didn't really solve that, promising that I'm gonna be solving them at the beginning of the next uh, session, and I have completely forgotten. I'm looking at my tabs and I see those ones here. This one I started to solve yesterday, but I really didn't really couldn't really concentrate. So let's just see that today if I'm in a better shape. In the meantime, I'm just gonna be looking into this site, refresh the screen to see if they have posted any games so far or not. But I believe it is going to be happening in about like half hour. Okay. So here we go again. This is the puzzle in which we've got um, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 equal number of pawns, equal number of light pieces, rooks and queens. Uh, Black has got this really strong passer here. We are currently attacking the bishop on e5, and but we can't really take that right away because the rook is pinning our pawn. So we are to lose our queen if we are taking on e5. All right, but there were a couple of ideas that I saw. One of them is to take on f7. One of them is to play rook f3, attacking the queen. But to me, that seemed slightly strange. What I liked here was I was still tending to go to rook f3 more. Why? Because he covers with the pawn. Then I am starting to attack his bishop. If bishop drops back, I can still continue attacking his pawn. He can cover that, but then all these kind of checks are coming here, right? So he has to cover with the bishop again. And then, well, technically I haven't got any attack in here. But yeah, maybe we could just push the pawns forward or whatsoever. In fact, how about this variation? I'm going there, he covers. I am going to e3. By the way, we're also taking the pawn here. So he goes away with the bishop. And then we might we can actually take the pawn, but this exchange is not really in our favor here. So I'm just continuing to go there, taking f7 pawn. He goes with the rook, and once the rook is here, it can't really move along the file, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going just to push the pawns forward. And once I'm pushing the pawns forward, I'm creating really kind of dangerous ideas here of going there further with the pawn. So I believe that at least sounds nice. Okay, I will do this little interruption here to see if the games are there or not. No, they are not, and therefore we're going to this particular puzzle here. I'll just go there. I'll check another DGT site to see if the games are there or not, but they would probably appear at the same time. Okay, now, alright, so let's just see how it all goes. I'm quite sure that if anything starts there on that side, I will probably hear the sound of moves. But in the meantime, yeah, there's a lot of players there. This time I think it was 44 players in the main event, as I see. And some of those players are international players that came to New Zealand, because there is another tournament that is held after that Congress for the norms. And you know that to get a title like the International Master or Grandmaster, you need to perform some norms. I think it is 3 norms, and if you perform 3 norms, then enriched a certain rating, then you will be entitled a title, giving a title in other words. All right. So these days, if I just have a look at the um, whoever is participating. Well, I'll show you later on. Once the boards are there, I will probably see we'll see the participants, and I'll tell you about the players briefly who is playing. So the main event, as per the last update, was 44 people there, 20 boards. I don't think that they're gonna cover all of the 20 boards, but at least top 10 we could always have a look at and watch the games. Okay, but in the meantime, let's just go back to our tactics. So my proposal here would be to go forward with the rook, and if he goes there, we can go queen to e3, attacking the bishop. Therefore, he needs to drop back. Well, he can drop back somewhere else, but definitely not to f6. He can drop to to c7, and actually, in this case, we won't have any queen to f4 anymore, unfortunately for us. But if he goes there, he stops attacking the pawn, and here we can just take on a b3, because we are aligning our rook and the queen to that particular pawn. There is also a lot of variations when he doesn't really go with the pawn forward, but rather maybe going away with the queen somewhere. I'm not sure where to though. like maybe here. We can always go with the rook to d3. That was my initial idea. The bishop needs to drop back somewhere, and then we just simply go with the pawn push. Once we go forward, he would need to react, otherwise our pawns are going to be really strong here. So that was my initial idea. I may be wrong, but well, that's at least what I see is maybe um, perspective or something like that. Yeah. All right. It also could be that it is a little bit too complex. Maybe there's something simpler, and it is usually how it is. There is a lot of simple moves here too. In fact, he can't really take here. So if we go there, for example, we are attacking kind of the queen, not really attacking, but we are um, creating this um, threat of taking on. Um, and in fact, you know what? No, that doesn't really work. So I'd go there, attacking his queen, kind of. And if he takes me here, I'm taking with the knight. He takes me here, I'm pinning him. He goes away, and here, well, he's protecting his rook, right? So that's not really in my favor here. So unfortunately, that is not really working here. Another idea was simply to take on f7. The idea, well, basically no idea. If he takes, I was planning to go that way to attack both of those pieces, but well, we can easily just go back to f6 and protect everything. So now that doesn't really work. Um, Also, I was looking at the move queen to g5, but then he goes f6, and this is, yeah, this is not really clear. I can take on f6 in fact with the rook. So he takes, I take. I'm threatening to take the rook, but if rook goes somewhere like f8, what I'm going to do next, I'm not quite sure. I can give a check. He can go away. We can bring the knight in fact, and it sure. So let's just go forward. Now, what else can we do? Ideally, I would like to go away with my queen in a way that I want to go away with tempo. That's what I would like to do. So if I go there, for example, he can move the pawn, right? So that's gonna be not with tempo at all, right? And that's not really good, is it? Let me just quickly check if the Congress has started. Here we go. Here we go. Guys, we will forget about that. Here we go. So that's the first board. Okay, that's the first board. Displaying Grandmaster Eshan. I think he's from Egypt. So that's what I was looking at before, and let's just look at their game. He's playing against Hao Tang. Hao is from our club, so I know him. We were playing some games before, and how it usually goes with d4. I'm not quite sure about the Grandmaster's choice, but it looks like he's playing Bogo Indian here. It is kind of universal reply to all of the lines with like mimicking the Nimzo Indian. So it's like, yeah, kind of universal stuff here. So he goes covers, he goes a5, and they haven't made any moves so far, so this is the one. I'm not familiar with this line for white, but definitely taking here is not is what black would like, because this pawn will deter the development. But even though, like, well, if you take, he takes, and we go knight to d2 later on, I think that should be fine. What computer says here it is g3. That's fair enough. Then they just fianchetto the bishop, and yeah, that's gonna be quite a lot of play here. All variations here show basically advantage to white, all the three first ones at least, right? So yeah, quite an interesting, even fourth, yeah, slight advantage for to white. Okay, next. Um, Next board is black player is Jasmine Zhang. She's quite a talented young lady, and I remember playing with her when she was really young girl. Now she's grown up and she's quite strong. So she's playing black against Ben Haig. Ben Haig is our FIDE master. He was going for international master norm, and I think he will pursue pursue this thing as well. So here the opening was a little bit passive on the white side. So it is just like just a second. I'll turn off uh, my phone. Um, you look at the opening is actually on the passive side for white because well, once you get this structure, by the way, this structure Akiba Rubinstein was playing, then playing like b3 and then bishop b2 here. So it is, I think it is called Collet opening. What Collet idea was to place the pawn on c3 and then play some other kind of weird stuff like knight to e5, then f4, and etc. So yeah, but here it is a little bit passive for black. For white, sorry. Black, Jasmine, I know that she always plays Queen's Gambit declined here, so it's like probably like a familiar structure to her. Uh, yeah, so that's gonna be interesting, an interesting game to watch. Then we're having a third board, Grandmaster Semi Shoka. I'm not sure where he is from, but we can easily probably see if we click on the person. No, we can't do that here now, but I will check out. I'm not quite sure where he's from. And the white player is also a really talented girl from our club, Isabel Ning. We also had a lot of games together. So Isabel plays white, and she usually starts with d4. Now knight f6, usual play here, and this one is kind of transposition to King's Indian. When black plays this way, then the e5 comes, and then maybe g6, etc. Well, we can also reach kind of old Benoni structure here, but this knight, well, the knight would on d7. I'm not quite sure, but what happened in the game, it is exactly what um, it was. Probably like old Benoni, or just going there g6 and then yeah. So a little bit passive for black, but black is the grandmaster, so he could find a way. Yeah, here we go. So g6 was played, and basically we reached some kind of King's Indian here, in which I believe that Isabel usually plays knight bishop to g5. Here it is going to be transposition to the Petrosian system. All right, so we'll see how it all goes. In fact, that says that particular variation um, looks like it is kind of quite a favorable for black, in fact, in this kind of type of moves. Usually, white doesn't really rush with the d5 advantage. So usually white goes knight f3 and then transposes to the regular, King's Indian structures. Here it's gonna be, well, we'll see how it goes. Um, Now, fourth board is white Nicholas Crowd playing against Dachi Mao. Dachi is also really young and talented guy from our club. He has quite a lot of potential, I believe. Yeah, he plays quite well. So here we go. What happened here? Nicholas Crowd is a guy from Wellington, FIDE master, quite a strong person. He was also participating, if I'm not mistaken, in our Olympics, chess Olympics in where was that? Chennai, right? So here we go. So Nicholas usually plays with the king's pawn. So here we go. Dachi usually plays French defense, quite easy to prepare against, but here we go. So this is the classical one. He goes the e5, he goes d7, taking. So it's the typical classical one. F4, typical structure, castling, knight F3, A6, bishop D3, H6. Well, frankly, not quite sure about that move because with the whole white's intention, it looks like he's gonna go and castle alongside. So H6 here definitely doesn't help. That's what probably um, black should be avoiding. But here it looks like once a white played a bishop to d3, is that the Greek gift available now? So check here, then go there. I think yeah, and that's why he played h6 in here. Usually, what black plays here is f6, and that's more like the spirit of the position, because yeah, well, that's what black is actually trying to do: open the position and then just start to pressurize on like f file or something, you know, or even lock the position here so to avoid this nasty bishop looking there. I think even f5 was going to be better. One of the variations here was f5 right away, but I believe that's not really kind of good because white can always take on f6 and then place this kind of position here, even castle short side, and that pawn will be really, really weak for black. I think there was one game, I don't remember exactly who it was played against. Rubinstein played against Vidmar, I believe, Milan Vidmar. I'll check it up, but he actually had this kind of position where he played g3, I think castled the short side, and then doubled all the put all the rooks on these files, and I actually won that after a while. But h6 is definitely a move not in the proper direction because that is potentially to be, you know, susceptible to this attack here on the king's flank. So yeah. Anyways, next. Then we got another talented person, young guy, Kendrick Zhang, also from our club, developing quite fast, getting a lot of rating there. So he usually plays e4. Now he's playing against international master Anthony Kerr, and Anthony usually goes for the early dragon variation here. So here we go. So this is his common thing. Kendrick plays d4, and in fact, that's kind of leads to quite a lot of really sharp positions. Also, the possibility here is to play c4, and on that one to go d4. Once the opponents take, he goes, oh, sorry, not d6, d5, then e5, and this is called, I think it is Hungarian variation or something. And this is also really kind of favorable for white because of that kind of, center and problems with the development of the light square bishop. Then white can go b5, exchanging there, and probably like reach a long-term slight advantage. Again, black usually goes f6, trying to kind of blow up the center and so on. But yeah, currently that's not what was played. d4, taking, knight c6. Now it is called accelerated dragon, I believe. So in this case, if we go there, yes, exactly. Knight, bishop e3, knight f6. Yes, here we go. So that's exactly accelerated dragon, castling, going b3, e5. Wow, that becomes really kind of interesting because now, yeah, well, it's kind of zooted threat at the moment, but potentially it could be after a while. So he castles short side. Well, probably quite wise because black can attack here and play d5 right sometimes, sometime afterwards. So yeah, that's quite an interesting stuff. So d6 played, knight b5. Not quite sure what knight does there, but slightly a strange move. But actually, the theory says that is the uh, typical move here, right? So probably just going there, or what's the idea of that move? Going that way and then that way, or something like that? I'm not quite sure about that kind of thing. I've never played it myself, so that's why I'm kind of a little bit lost here. So that's the move, and in fact, it is one of the top theory moves here. So I suspect that Kendrick actually prepared well to Anthony Kerr in this case, probably with help of a coach that I'm also familiar with, which is Ewan Green. Who knows? That's just my kind of suggestion here. Not even suggestion; it's like wild guess, right? And here, Anthony actually already thinks for quite a while. Was he not really familiar with this move, or he was surprised that Kendrick was playing that? I'm also surprised because I didn't really think that it was the move in this position. But nevertheless, next. So here we go. We've got Thomas van der Hoorn. It is a really young fella from Wellington, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe not even from Wellington, maybe from South Island. I need to verify that one. But he plays against FIDE Master Daniel Gong. Daniel is also a young player, but he's quite, quite developed, and he is strong player, participating in the Olympics as well. So he's quite experienced fighter. So here we've got something like Rui Lopez, um, castling, and now it is really fashionable move, which Magnus Carlsen actually implied. It is going to e7, playing the martial counter attack. Going there, going back, castling, going a4. Now this is counter martial, and it's really common now. A4 is the main move that Nepo actually was playing against Magnus Carlsen, if you remember, in their last World Championship match. It didn't really bring any success to White, by the way, so we will see how it goes this time. D3, yep, I believe that was more or less according to the match, but I think Nepo played something like h3 in here. C3 is also to be played. I believe move D3 was played again. Was played by Duda, young Krzysztof Duda. So okay, D6, C3, knight there. Bishop goes away. C5, D4, opening the center. So here, well, White more or less prepared for that push, right? What does Black play? I mean, I'm just curious. He takes. Indeed, that's a top move here, but it is not bringing any luck to Black, in fact. Well, speaking of luck, I believe in terms of getting any chances. So here we see that the statistics say 25% win for White, 75% draw. In fact, it's not too bad for Black, right? So if Black is looking for a draw, so that's not really bad stuff. Going there. Queen to c7, usual play. It's by the way, it is also a move in the Chigorin system. So here we go, and so far there was no moves made. And as usual, Daniel's time is well ahead of whatever was given to him. He plays quite fast, but frankly not always accurate. So that is one of the drawbacks once Daniel plays. So he kind of mix out moves really fast in almost like rapid manner, but sometimes it is not really good, so you can always think a little bit longer but maybe find some kind of better move in this position. Okay, nice. So we will see the development of that. Okay, so here's the move played, knight b to d2, and I'm just curious what yeah, so definitely placing the rooks into here or something. Yeah, that's what Black usually does. Okay, we'll see how it goes. Next. Now we've got also really talented guy, Philly Paktamati. So he's also from our club, and I see all of these guys from our club are playing on the first boards with really experienced players. He is quite a strong blitzer, not that successful in the classical games, but if he had just a little bit more patience, probably he would be really great. So going there, that's what he plays usually. He plays against international master Russell Dive. He's from Wellington, quite a strong and experienced veteran. Okay, goes there, going d5, d6, knight c3. Well, that's an interesting development here without moving the pawn. So it's like betting on development more, I believe. So going there, e5. Now taking here would probably develop the black's pieces as well. So yeah, I hope that Philly knows what he's doing. But in this scenario, the most common move was bishop to g5. In fact, bishop to g5. And another common move is just to take here. But that take actually brings some luck to black already. We know. So here we go. So he went back to d2. And overall, this kind of position is once black plays e4, is in fact favorable for black. But it's really hard to move another pawn move in the opening, so I believe black would just look for something like this because that's the typical structure that Russell plays. Okay, so what was played? Oh, that was nothing like that. So it was there. Bishop to f5, knight f3, a h6. So he's trying to cover the bishop retreat if possible. Okay, now we will go to the next one. Okay, so on this board, there's FIDE master Michael Steedman. He is director of our chess club, currently living in Queenstown, but he came there to play. Really experienced, strong player, really, strong tactician. So yeah, tries all the possible chances, quite devious in tactics, and yeah. So they played, surprisingly, Michael played knight f3. He usually goes for sharper systems like e4, etc. But this time he didn't really go. He went for some kind of opening that Magnus Carlsen used to play in the Blitz. And he goes for this kind of really passive but really hard to infiltrate structures. Here it is resembling King's Indian with the reverse colors, right? Knight c5, he goes there, knight c3, and so far there is all the moves that they made. Quite a um, slow going game, and he plays against Daniel uh, uh, Weinherzelle. I haven't heard about this person. I'm not quite sure where he is from, but it looks like, well, it's sad I couldn't really see. I may be able to glimpse into other side, but I don't really know. Not familiar with this name. Next, board, Ewan McDougall, also really young, talented game player from our club, playing here. Um, Quite good at tactics. Really good playing blitz. Not really particularly good at classical games, but he's equally strong. Really, a really quickly developing person. Now he's playing against our veteran FIDE master Robert Smith, quite an well-known person. He handles the Trust Open every year. He's also a chief of a chess club in Mount Maunganui, which is Tauranga. Or Tauranga, as it's correct to say. Um, all right. So what was here? D4. Um, okay. So here we go. This is the Queen's Indian to the London system. Cool. C3, opening the center right away. E4. So in this position, well, this bishop here is a little bit passive, but equally white is not really achieving any particular advantage in this system. Well, slightly better for white anyways. We'll see how it all goes. Okay. Uh, um, Bob is quite a strong player in terms of he plays really like solidly, right? So it's really hard to start attacking him unless he blunders something. So looks like that. But he's quite a strong and experienced veteran. Next, here we've got Cohen Young. This is also a young player from our club. He was showing quite good results there. I believe he won some of the, or maybe just no, I'm confusing him with Victor Cohen. Sorry, I believe that, he is either from Wellington or I don't want to, speculate. And here we've got Herman van Riemsdyk. He is once was the trainer of our Olympics team. He often visits New Zealand, plays in the invitational tournaments here as well. Quite a nice person. I had a lot of conversations with him, and quite an experienced veteran as well. Has just tremendous knowledge. So he usually plays really sharply, and it is usually the king's pawn. Here we go, the Sicilian, and here we go, transposition to the Scheveningen system. What does he choose? Oh, he has chosen a really sharp variation here, which is called the Rouser attack. e6, queen to d2, a6, that's old theory, castling, bishop to g7, just to if the any exchange happens on c6, black is to take with the bishop. Now here black takes on d4. Well, with this particular stuff, I'm not quite sure if it's definitely one of the lines, but I believe Kramnik was saying that it is not too favorable for black. Black will suffer here for quite a while. So we'll see. So development, h4, and here comes the attack. For black, it is really risky to castle king's side, because white will just go and push the pawns here, whereas for black it's really hard to organize any kind of counter attack on the um, queen's flank. Still, it is quite sharp. It is quite a lot of opportunities for both sides, but in general, it is considered quite hard to be played as black. Okay, b5 right away. King to b1. Obviously, Herman knows the theory quite well. So he goes queen to c7, usual structural move here, g4. Okay, and here black is still thinking. The main move here is to castle, and then there is h5 as well, which is, I believe, kind of a new fashion here, similar to the knight of h5 systems. So we'll see how it goes. Um, in either way, there is a slight advantage to black in this kind of structure. And I'm just curious to see, that was saying that this kind of variation with g4 is actually favorable for white. Now we see the main continuations here, and it is favorable for black. So if they go like castling, bishop to d2 is the main line, and then it is still like very favorable for black. My goodness, it is just like I'm now scared to play that one, because I'm also kind of playing systems with bishop to g5. Quite interesting, right? So let's just see what happened. Yeah, so he dropped, no, he didn't drop back. I need to get in there again. Here we go. g4 was played, and there is so far no moves. Okay, next one. Next one. So here there are two players, Edward Tanui, uh, quite an experienced player. I'm not quite sure where he was from. He was playing in Auckland as well. Not quite. I don't remember what his location was, where he is from. He's definitely New Zealand, but what place around, I'm not quite sure. So here he plays against FIDE Master Leo McLaren. I had a lot of games with Leo. The last one I played, actually, I won with black, which was quite a quite a sharp one. He just missed some kind of continuation there, which he could devastate me. But nevertheless, quite kind and interesting person as well. E4 going there, so Leo usually plays c5 here, and here is the variation that he also plays quite a lot. This E5 A5 variation. If what happened here is f4, but I believe if white goes just really in a regular direction, he could play something like taking here, knight takes, and playing e5 right away. This way white doesn't have the chance to go to b5. So that was the whole idea of this variation with a6. But I don't think it is way too different to any other systems. It also can transpose, etc. So here we are. Okay, let me just quickly okay. So let's just see what happened in the game. A6. Here, Edward chooses f4 system, which is kind of reasonable too, but now it is transforming to the closed system. Knight there, quite interesting. Where would the knight go there? This way, or then that way, or just f2? Okay, going there, castling. Now with the knight here, he wouldn't be able to go there. We would change, but this knight on d4 can be also pushed away at some point. Then c3 or something. So he played there, and white is still thinking about his move. Next, Ryan Winter against Oscar Keane. Oscar Keane is one of our club players as well, but I think he belongs to a different area in Auckland, not the Auckland Central Club. Also young and talented player. I didn't really see him playing lately, so he probably had some kind of a break or something. Not sure, but here we are. So he plays pits. He tends to go to the structures with the fianchettoed bishop here, like King's Indian and pits in this case. So again there. Ryan Winter is actually also really strong player. I think he's from Wellington. Or maybe I'm wrong again. I'm not quite sure about those players not from Auckland. It's not like I'm arrogant or anything. Sincerely I don't know where they are from. So going there. This is an interesting system against Pitts, and I don't think it is quite efficient because he can go that way, and then this bishop will be finishing somewhere here without any particular perspective. So usual was to go bishop e3 or g5, then queen to d2, then start to attack here because compared with the dragon, black doesn't have a lot of open files on the queen side, sorry. So yep, knight c6 was played, e5, knight goes there, h3, knight goes to h6, and here is the moment of truth. Basically, black is already castled, white didn't. White has got a little bit of a strong center here, but what is next? Going to e6 then, probably. That's the plan. But then a d4 is hanging. You know, so if you go there and the d4 is taking, we can take here with check first of all. He goes away, then we can take here. He takes here. We take here. Yeah, so that's quite tactical. So it's to watch out. Interesting kind of setup for white, in fact, with a lot of tactics. Sometimes the sit-ups are not too convincing, but if other player goes like really just making moves out of general suggestion or just general developing moves, sometimes you can catch them on the variation. Alright, we'll see how it goes. Next, Andrew D. Masters, not quite sure, again against Ben Thomas. Not familiar players to me, unfortunately, but we will see here. Yeah, Dutch defense here, and it's a classical one. Well, here that's not really advisable to get your bishop behind the pawns. Maybe a4 or g5. f4 is probably the most common here. Going there, really humble development for white. And immediate a5 here for black. Well, interesting. What if, well, first of all, that's not the system with g2, so technically yes, black can attack here, but if we simply take, he takes, we go with the rook, he goes probably the usual in the usual route. We go there. We need to watch out the e4 move in this case because the diagonal will be exposed, in fact, right? So yeah, actually quite smart idea for black. Hang on, that's me making the move. That's not the actual move. There. What does the engine say here? Taking or moving away the queen. White needs to waste some time to move the queen out, or maybe going this way. Yeah, I think I would go with b2 as well. But taking is also interesting. So he goes e4, and then white needs to move away. Needs to watch out for this kind of counterplay, usual Dutch counterplay on the king's side. But it's okay. Next. Edward Reigns playing against Aaron Wang. Aaron Wang is also one of our players from our club. Aaron usually plays King's Indian structures, so let's just see how it goes. And with this one, I think on e4 he usually plays the knight off, but here he's got something different, which is resembling like Grand Prix attack, but in a really weird way. So Edward is, from what I remember, he doesn't play theoretical openings. He's always going some kind of unconventional, where he wants the opponent to make the opponent think. And here you go. Yeah, that serves the purpose. So black needs to go back with the bishop to cover the d6 um, square. Now he goes with d4, and after we take, knight takes, queen takes. Yeah, for see, for black it is really hard to develop that bishop, so he need to go like b6 and play there. And also those kind of holes on the dark squares on the king side are not really favorable too. So yeah, black needs to watch out in all kind of self-play here into sorry, that's a bad word. So playing once you play your own moves instead of theory ones, that's called self-play. And then yeah, that doesn't really lead to the desired result in this kind of structures. So here we go. So we've got the last one where Jonathan Davis, not quite sure about this person, plays against Joshua Langford. It looks like he is from Wellington, if I remember correctly. Okay, so here we go. Caro-Kann, very popular these days. F3 is the gambit system, which is also quite popular. I believe that there was some kind of top players that also prepared and played that system specifically. And it's quite an interesting stuff. If Black doesn't know what he's doing, he could get in trouble here. But let me just see if Bishop b6 is the move here, and actually it is, and brings color quite good result here to Black. A4, is it also theory? Yes, one of the theory, but still good for Black. A5, and now this is completely better for Black because now a5, bishop there. Well, okay, so it looks like white is already in trouble here. But the engine actually says +1, so it is not as bad as a5 is played. Check, king goes there. And now, well, that's really interesting because it looks like it's a complete miss for white, but in fact it is all theory. And I think after b4 we're looking at white being in trouble. So let's say if we play b4, queen goes there, c3, so he takes with check, we take, and looks like, well, we've got an extra pawn here. It's quite a strong position in the center as well. So wow, that's an interesting theory. So I think Jonathan Davis is one of the persons who actually to be watched, because that's getting +2 from the opening. It's quite a skill. And I know that Joshua Langford is also quite a skilled player, young skilled player. So that's quite an interesting development here. Funny system. I just need to have a look into that because that seems like, well, yeah, black is better, black is bigger. But suddenly after this move, c5 is, well, it is still saying that it's better for black, but computer says otherwise, and I tend to believe computer more than the players that played this game. Quite interesting. With your permission, guys, I will just take a really quick break. I will just turn off my camera and we'll see how this whole thing here develops in the meantime. I'll just leave it um, as is. Just a second, going backwards, going forward into this. Before was the last move here indeed. So this move was made and we'll see how it all goes. I'll turn off the engine, but then, or maybe I will leave it so we can see what the best recommendation is. And I will just quickly have a really quick break now. Hello guys, I'm back. Okay, so let's just see what happened in this case. I'm not quite sure if there was any. Oh yeah, there was some development there, so we left it here. So on there, taking right there. Well, that is not really. C3 was the beast, but it was really hard move to make. So A3. Now he takes on here, and it is basically slightly. Well, it's nearly equal there, anyways. Okay, so here we go. We covered all of them. I just explained all the boards. I could actually glimpse into where the people are from, but for that I would need another browser screen to be open. FPS. Oh, okay, so here Elshan was from USA, in fact, and Sami Shoka is from Egypt, right? Herman van Riedsdyk is from Brazil. Yeah, I know him. Now, anybody else from different countries? Not really, not on the boards at least. I was looking at somebody else there, but Jonathan Davis from USA, and that's about it. So there's not a lot of people. Andrew Masters is from Scotland, right? SCO, and he is rated, FIDE rated, uh, um, in 1833. Okay, all right, I can close that one, so we don't have any frame drops here. Here we go. That just slowly grows up. Wonderful. So, all right. So the games are on, and I would probably just go to the broadcast to see all of the games here. I'm not sure if you guys can see that or not. I'll just have a look at my screen. Yeah, well, not all of them, of course. Yeah, some of them are here and there. But nevertheless, I will go to the solving puzzle stuff, which we were starting. So here I was tending to go for this idea with rook to f3, attacking the queen and then just moving here. So that's potentially bringing us a lot of, like pushing the pawns forward, and it's going to be quite dangerous for black, even though he's got really nice passer here. The only problem that I've got here is that once we move d5, the diagonal is going to get open, and he could try to push the pawns as well. A pawn, I mean not pawns, pawn, his pawn. So yeah, unless I'm just not seeing something really subtle here. Is there any other way to bring away the queen somehow and also try to capture that bishop? Because what happened is he has taken a pawn, right, and maybe that would give us any clue of what white was thinking in this case. The players are quite strong. Whoever played this game, they were 2100, nearly 2200 both. That's quite a strong, it's considered strong player. Yeah. This is also interesting, like trying to that, but I see like, well, he's got this escape to f6. If he hadn't had this escape, that would be great. What if we go there, so he goes f6, right? And now if we go somewhere like else, maybe like here, we're still threatening to take him, right? And if he takes us here, we can always go there, check, and well, we can't really take here, but yeah, we can go check. Well, if he takes, we can go check. I think that's the idea, guys. Hang on, just like sudden revelation here. So we're trying to use that fork initially. Now, if he differently, he goes f6. That's the thing. We go to g4, and here we are still threatening to take on a5, and he's got nowhere to go. If he goes anywhere, we still continue like check, taking f6 pawn, etc. So the position crumbles. So if we go there, he goes there, we go to g4 with the idea of check here or taking on e5. If he takes with the bishop, we take for sure, so he has to take, then we go check, and wherever he goes, he's losing his rook on the next move. That's simple, seems like. Okay, now, yeah, have to go there. And that's the solution, in fact. The rating of this puzzle is 2500, that's why I've got only 4 points up to, right? So, but this is quite interesting. So I finally found what the idea was, because I was thinking like, well, there is something to do there. There's no way with those passive moves we could think of something, like even rook e3. It doesn't really match the spirit of the position, right? So good, one puzzle solved. I can close that one off. And here is the other one, which is this one. And this one I also started to solve, but I didn't finish. But before we're doing that, let me just go to the Congress games and look at that again. So with the Grandmaster game, what happened here is how Tan was playing against him. Let's just quickly browse through. We finished somewhere around here, so he took. A3 was played, so he took, taking. Well, in fact, well, that's quite a pleasant position for white, but he goes d6, then e5, obviously. So it goes there, then yeah, preparing e5, of course. We go in there. I will just turn off the engine at the moment. So, well, now it's interesting that white needs to spin one more tempo to go back to b1 because e4 is a threat. So that allows black to castle, 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 going there. The knight to c3, going there. Black has got no problems at all, and he's already developed. So that's the kind of playing against the Grandmaster, guys. So I would probably take on e5 and exchange a lot of pieces there, hoping for, like going somewhere near the draw. By the way, what does computer say if I this way? I just take on a5. Is that okay? So he takes with d, obviously not with the knight. Then h3 anyways. So he goes away. We start to chase him. But the position is equal, right? So h3 is equally good. And I think it is even more um, dynamic. So he went away. Before. Well, before is kind of a move that, yeah, he doesn't really want to be jammed here if the queen goes away, but before, okay. I tell you one thing. Once I saw how playing his games, it is always going with before. So this structure he plays, those 3 pawns. He wants to advance them, and sometimes it is a cliche which you shouldn't really apply. So it's not always profitable, kind of profitable in brackets, apostrophe, sorry, in quotes. That to advance those pawns, but he knows those structures, so he advances that anyways. Now he goes c6, yeah. Queen, rook to e1, just to protect in case the knight goes, because he wants to plant his bishop, his queen somewhere around here, I think. Goes there. Here we go. So this is the typical house structure where he plays absolutely the same thing all over again. But the problem is that it's not always the same thing. So e4 is played, going away, taking with the knight, taking on before. No, he went away with the black went away with the knight, so he wants to relocate to somewhere here probably. In theory, white's position is quite solid here. I agree. I agree, and it is because probably of the couple of the last moves here where e4 is definitely, yeah, well, e4 is kind of a strange move here. We can't blame because black is the grandmaster who plays, but it doesn't seem like, yeah, what if he just takes here, taking here, then changing here? taking here, taking here. Exchanging definitely is good for black. Another position is nearly equal. Yeah, it's really funny to say that once the engine is up, is on, right? But try to play it over the board. That's the main thing. Okay, so now changing everything, he went back, and I believe that's the last move on which White is still thinking, right? The position as we saw the last was plus 1.3, definitely in White's advantage. So we will see how it all goes. Maybe going there, or maybe pushing in the center. What would be the White's plan here? It's really interesting to see. Okay, let's just go to the next game. And here it was Jasmine playing against Bean. It was this, yeah, this passive structure for White, but I believe Bean plays those ones. Taking, taking, taking. Okay, kind of a little bit of exchange in the center. Going. Oh wow, that's quite well. In fact, that is also dictated by the position because that whole thing here is in fact, yeah, that's what the whole thing is about. So G6 for sure, queen to H3, and now black is thinking. Um, Now the dark square suddenly became really vulnerable, but maybe it is worth going that way, or even staying on F6 trying to exchange something here, because black is also not too bad by the look of that. But I may be wrong. So what about our computer? It says, yeah, black is fine. It is even really, really slight advantage for black. And yeah, the computer recommends bishop to f6. Yeah, to cover the diagonal. Surely. Or even e5. No, bishop to f6 is the recommendation here. Sure. So here we go. Next. So here is a Belning playing against the other player. They started with some kind of a really strange um, position here. So now they are reaching this move. White has just relocated a lot and playing queen here, now the queen there. Wasting time in my opinion. But black is also like playing really aggressively here. Yeah, we'll see, we'll see. It looks like black has already got a really comfortable position here. He knows what he's doing, probably. And it's not like because he's a grandmaster, it's just like by the look of the position. Okay, now what happened here? Um, Nick Crowd is playing against Dachi. Dachi is playing there, or he is relocating his knight, hc3, typical, really strong position here, getting away with the king. Yeah, well, king is in French is usually, white's king is usually just traveling around, but here it is come, f6 is gonna come. So what does happen? f5 instead, closing the position. Also kind of okay, but then I would have some kind of opportunities to open up there for the attack. So it goes c2. Well, maybe going there somewhere, right? Or something. Or just activating. Yeah, connecting the rooks here, sure. So going there. This one. But it looks like I'm not quite convinced with that. I think I should be developing. Moving the knights all around the board is... Yeah, and here we go. He aligns against that file to go g4. That's why I was thinking like f6 was better there. We'll check it out. G6, yeah. Okay, so here he's attacking with tempo. I would even probably go with the queen exchange in here, guys. Strangely, but well, then he goes that way. We go a1. He takes, we take, and it is still, the position is still in like white's advantage because well, the endgame is quite, well, yeah, well, quite hard for black, I say. But in here, instead of h5, f5, what would black recommend? What would be what the computer recommend for black? Yeah, well, f6 is the second choice. Yeah, and that's what I would go If the king is here, I would definitely like to open up the whole thing here. Yeah. Alright, we'll see how it goes, but it looks like white is already starting to attack. And um, what would black counter to that? So yeah, computer recommends those two moves to even change the queens. Yeah, that's what I said. Changing queens here would be probably not too bad. Now, where were we here? We were in this strange accelerated dragon position. Aha, so he goes there. What would be the recommendation for the computer here? It is, well, actually all of the black moves here are bad. So he went with knight to g4, which is in fact really good for white. White usually plays here bishop to g5, and he played bishop to f4. Slightly missing that, right? Because e5 now, it is a tempo move as well, and we would like to leave that square for a pawn as well, just to have this push, which is the essence of the position for white, because he wants to go this way. Alright, so f4 is misfire in my opinion. Right, so now he goes there, trying to exchange as many pieces as possible, because white's pressure is going to be quite tremendous here. Now going there, e3, going to e5. Now, in my opinion, black resolved all the problems. Yeah, almost all of the problems. Yeah, d5 square is quite weak, but what can you do with that? Still, I believe that white's position is not too bad. And if we turn it on, yes, computer gives one +1 here. Yeah. Okay, but it's better than whatever was before. Yeah. Now Philly, how Philly plays. He plays extremely fast as well. He is the blitz player, so he kind of he can finish the game having even more time on his clock than it was before. Oh no, sorry, it's Daniel Gong here playing, and Daniel is equally fast. Sorry, I was looking at one thing and I was showing the other. So here is what this goes. Yeah, so going there, taking, going to d3, protecting, going b4. He goes there, taking here. That's yeah, it's kind of a combo here because yeah, taking a check takes check here, and here we've got a little bit of a problem. White might get this really strong pawn in the end game, but well, frankly, black should probably go for the exchange of the pieces here or something. What does computer say? Going even d5 would be the best. White has got slight advantage here, surely. Okay, next. So now Philly, how it is going? Well, surprisingly, it's only move 15 here, and Philly has already been thinking for quite a while, more than Russell, which is quite good. Yeah, I think if he thinks more, that would be definitely advantageous. f3, wow, that's interesting move. So going e4 next, or going g4. Well, definitely not g4. But seems like, well, black's position is okay. More than okay. I think it is. Yeah, in black's it's quite advantageous for black. But the look of that, black has already developed everything. That's what I wanted to say. So here, Michael Steedman. Okay, so quite a strong position for white. A, a lot of opportunities here as well. Yeah, black on the other hand has got no problems either. And it's only moved 10, and both of them already spent like like half an hour. Okay, next. So here it is. Oh, that's already developed quite a lot. And what last time we left them, we played e4. So developing the bishop, changing the bishops, changing the queens. Going with the development. Okay, castling. Oh, castling. Why would you just go e2? I would just go e2. I don't want to waste my time going with my king away. Okay, nevertheless, going there. G4. Okay, attacking the pawn for sure. And that was the last move, right? There was no development since then. Anything else? He's also threatening to go to a4. Well, that is easily parried, right? So if we go there, say he goes that way, we go b3, he takes here, right? So once he goes there, we just start to probably. So you got this counterplay here as well. Okay, that knight here is a little bit of a little bit lost, I believe. So we'll see. Well, definitely it is well, nearly equal, I would say. Yeah. So just +6, +3, +5, slight advantage for white. Well, nearly equal. Yeah. Computer approves. Next, Herman. Ooh, how about that? That was really quick. Herman played really, really quickly. Okay, let's just see. Taking, going there, taking there, g4. This was the last one, so he played castling, sure, taking. That's all about. Oh, taking with the pawn. Oh, why not the bishop? Because he takes there. Well, hang on. So if taking with the bishop, he takes here, sure. I'm taking here, right? But it looks like white is still like lack of development, really. So if we go there, he goes something like that. We can go, say, I don't know. Actually, it's really hard for, well, not hard, but maybe we could go like even e5, then go there or something. Yeah, interesting. So taking with the pawn is funny. Going there, changing the queens, taking there. Okay, so the pawn is gone anyways. But the good thing is that, well, black has got two bishops. How he is going to handle that, I'm not sure, but let's just see. So going there, taking, now going there, okay. Taking, doubling the pawns, sure, but your pawns are also on the light squares, all of them. So that should be okay. If we fixate them, yeah, okay, so he's trying to do that as well. So going there, check first, developing pieces, going there, yep. Again, light squares, just bear in mind, guys. Going there, and that's the last move. What can I say? Advantage for white for sure, and that's because, well, in the light square bishops, he placed all of his pawns on the light squares. That's not how you do that. So unfortunately, it is definitely advantage for white, and we'll see how much. +2, plus 0.7, probably, well, Herman will squeeze that out. Next, without computer, please. So we've got that here somewhere, and we've got this really weird position where he played um, knight to d4. So f5 followed right away. Taking. Well, isn't that we can just win a pawn here? Okay, what's the white's plan then? Going there, development, just development, castling, taking here, taking with the pawn, sure, going there. Okay, tactics. So just f6 maybe. Just f6, I would say. Ugly move, but well, what can you do? Playing with the rook definitely, well, the spin is actually nasty, so f6 I would say. So maybe he takes, or just goes away. If he goes away, that pieces. Well, in fact, if it goes there, the diagonal here becomes really open. So if, say, he goes away, we take, he gives us a check, and it's also, black is not really developed, so maybe it's a really good point here. No wonder Leo is thinking now, and I believe he's gonna be thinking for quite a long time, because it's not easy to get rid of that pin. The pin is really annoying. f6 is played, yes, okay. f6 is played, so probably just bishop to f4, maybe not, well, actually depriving that, okay, maybe d2 then just relocating it if possible. So yeah, bishop here made his work for sure. Maybe even e3, this is the pawn that is also hanging. So yeah, that's kind of a tempo move here. So if he takes, we take with check, and then we still, so yeah, I'm considering the bishop e3 here. We'll see how it goes. Next one. Here we've got some kind of weird exchange already. We went there, and then take, get there. E6 was played. Yeah, sure. So as I expected. So to get in there. Now this pawn is gonna be dead, but checking here, going away. D5. Okay, so this pawn is saved, but our queen is attacked. Now queen goes away. F7 pawn is gone, castling, and here we stand. Well, I believe that, well, white might have a slight advantage in here, but no, it is equal. Maybe even, maybe, well, this knight is quite strong here. Yeah, slight advantage to black, I believe. No, it is equal in slight advantage to white, in fact, but yeah, nearly equal then. Next. So we left it with where it was, taking the air, now castling. So he took on e5. And that's dangerous because now e4 is on the plate, right? Now rook to d1. Why wasn't that a move? Oh, okay, because he can cover for sure. For sure, yeah. So that's not gonna work. Go in there, go in there. b2. Well, looks like I'd say equal. Slight advantage to white. Okay. Slight advantage to white it is. Because, yeah, the pieces are quite nicely placed and black is a little bit behind of development, right? Fair enough. Next. So we've got to this really weird situation where black needed to go with the... Oh, no, 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 no. What is this? F5? That is kind of counterpositional, really. Alright, okay. So white must be really happy about that position. So check, he will get back that pawn. But what is that worth? Takes there, covering, going there, attacking the pawn. Okay, I have a really, really strong doubt here. With this kind of position, b3, simple b3, yes, sure. Developing, and that's the last move, right? I'd say advantage to white. And indeed, it is +4, so it's nearly winning actually. With that kind of structure, with that kind of bishop, come on, man. And with those two bishops here and full development for white, oof, that really hurts. So now what we've got here, Sicilian with this weird f3 variation. Okay, so here we left them with nearly equal, so he took on e4. Now he took on e4, right? So now took on e5. tempo move here, going away, developing, developing and pinning, going away from the pin, developing, developing, castling, a6. What's the idea? What was the pawn to do there? Just opening up the king or what? Why to waste that move? Yeah, this one is definitely better. A6, yeah, well he passes. That's it. So the king is perfectly safe here. I'm not quite sure about the idea of this move. Yeah. All right then. So that was the last board. We'll get to that again at some point. Um, I will probably stream for about 2 hours, so it's 1.5 already. And I'm also wanting to solve some puzzles. So it was the second one that I was missing. And here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, one pawn less, equal number of pieces, equal number of rooks, equal number of queens. We're very well. We are one pawn down, looking for some counterplay. I don't really like this X-ray. Bishop can jump away and our queen is going to be under attack, so you always need to watch out. This knight is on the side of the board, not really participating, but it has really nice task here to prevent checkmate on g2 because the queen and the bishop are actually looking at that square. So this knight here is perfect, but it could be bothered, and once it goes, we're in trouble. Right, so we need to watch that one. And now, what else have we got here? Potentially, guys, potentially. I had looked into this position before, and I looked at this kind of moves like here, bothering his queen, as well as creating a really nasty pin here on of the b6 pawn. So if potentially we go there, we're also creating a threat of taking on c5 with the bishop. If he goes there, the problem is that he takes here with check, and we have to recapture with the rook, and therefore the pin here doesn't really exist anymore, so he can take that off. Right, but the good thing is we can move there first. We can take on c5. What does he do? If he takes right away, we just move the queen into the rook into here, pinning his queen, and it's gonna be a loss. Uh, so taking here, what else has he got? Bear in mind that our queen here is placed nicely because the b1 square is under attack, under our protection as well, from which we can attack the enemy's queen again. Right? That will give us this pin possibilities again. So we just need to watch out. So if we take, suppose, he changes here, we take that here. The bishop is needs to be taken, but if he takes, as we said, we go there and he's lost. So it looks like we technically we are winning a piece here by moving taking on c5. Is that easy? I'm not quite sure yet because yeah, it seems like he can't take right away, and if he can't, that he's in trouble. He can try to do something else, like attacking our queen in the meantime. Maybe like moving something like this way here. So our queen is under attack. And if our queen is under attack, we just need to do something. Note that when he moved his knight, his bishop to a2, there's b1 square is also protected. So, but in fact, you know what? We can just probably simply go and take something else in here with this kind of check possibilities. Still quite a lot of initiative to me. Strong initiative to white in this case. Not quite clear though, but That would be probably first candidate move to me. Not none of our pieces is located on the light square, so this bishop, in fact, once it jumps away, attacking my queen doesn't attack anything, which is good fact. So we take here. So if he does that, we already noticed that we are winning here. So we can also get to the to the e7 check as well, developing our attack. So that's gonna be definitely in our favor. And by the way, we're also threatening taking here, then taking there maybe at some point. This queen here is a bit annoying, so we'll probably get rid of that first and then get there. So yeah, yeah. So I think that would be the move. Quite, yeah. It's an initiative move, so we can also go there right away. But then he might take here or something, I'm not sure. So that is also interesting because this way we are taking the queen already. But if it goes somewhere here or maybe there, then we take here, he takes with the queen. And there is nothing, so we shouldn't really bother that queen first. I'm taking here, guys. Now, that's another move that we were looking at, and I thought, it's possible. So that's another attack. Now, what do we do? Our queen should just go away somewhere. Like here, for example. Because this way we attack his bishop, as well as still threatening if he does anything. If he goes that way, for example, we're still like rook, we still piece up. We can also just get away with our bishop. We're winning a piece here. I don't want to stand back to that kind of exposure. So yeah, the only thing we need to verify if we have got anything else like in there. Probably f5 to protect. But this way we're just going back with our bishop, or even here maybe. So it's a good point here. Yeah, it looks like this way is better. He can move his rook in, by the way. But he can't really do much. No, he can. He can just give us a check. So here we need to be really careful. Oh yeah. By elimination, that would be the only move I could do. Counter-attacking his queen, like going there maybe. Well, this rook is gonna hang, and I can't really go away anyhow. And I'm attacked 2 times. Going there, and once he takes, I take this way. He takes me here. I can't take his bishop, so no, definitely I'm just moving that way probably. And if he takes, I'm taking here. No, I can't take here because this one is. So if he takes, I'm just stepping away. No, I can't because that one is. So stepping away this way. Be giving him a check or whatever now. Hmm. So if I move here, first of all, he's got that move. Second of all, he's got just simple taking. What I do if this simple taking happens? I forgot I can't take on e4 because he takes me here with check. Yeah. So that is basically, pardon me, a dilemma here. Maybe, well, maybe, I don't know. If I simply just go away that way, it's really paradoxical, but I'm still attacking his queen in this case. And if he takes, oh no, what I'm talking about. What am I talking about? Oh, I'll go in there maybe. So if he takes, nope, taking him here, he takes me, I take him. Yeah, well, that's a tremendous attack here then. So no, but I say no, 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 no. Maybe going away here. So he takes, I take, he takes. I'm moving there, f5, taking. Not enough, not enough. I want more. Going away with check now. Seems like that's the only way. So if he simply takes, what do I do? If he simply takes. First of all, I've got this check here, for example, right? I've got this check here. Then I maybe. What if I just go back that way? So if he takes me here, I'm taking him here. If he takes me there, I'm taking him here. Right. So maybe that is the case. I'm just counter-attacking his queen. And if he takes me here, well, cool. I'm just gonna take here then. Oh, there was some moves made there. Okay, I'll get back to there. So looks like that's the case. So if I move in there, what if he takes my rook? I think I'm in trouble if he takes my rook here. Because if I take his rook, he takes me here with check, right? So that's definitely not what I'm going to do. Now, if I go there, and he takes my rook, I can take him here with check, in fact. But equally won't survive. Looks like this is the only way then. But if he takes, I am struggling to see what I could do. Yeah, I'm really struggling to see what I could do in this position. Coming here, going somewhere like here. I really want to get rid of that. That one's an annoying piece. So if I take, he takes, I take. No. Also, I noticed that we can take here with check, in fact, right? So that's a good positive thing for us. But this rook should be gone somehow, and that's impossible. And I also want to protect that one, so if I have taken there with the idea of going that way, but this move ruins everything, doesn't it? If I go there, he takes, I take. There's no intrigue here anymore. So going there, he takes, I take, he takes. Every time I'm just one See me move behind. Come on, must be something. So currently this is the only way, the escape way, which is feasible. I can go that way in fact, right? I can also go that way. So in case he takes me here, like this move is off limit now. Hmm. And I'm just trying to rack my brain and see what could possibly happen here. How can we deal with the situation? So I go there, he takes. Simple. Second move is just going to be rook to d2. In fact, also very dangerous. Check here. Take here. Yes, I think that we could handle that at least. Hmm. It's a bit of a yeah, stuck here. Look, I will go to the chess congress. I'll have a look at the games, and then maybe I will have some ideas of how to conquer that beast. So now we've got +6. So white is still standing quite well. Okay, so here we've got a lot of things to play, but white is solid in here, yeah. It's really hard for black to organize any attack in here. Can try, but changing everything, so go e4 is a potentially weak, but equally is this. Okay, so he goes for that pawn. Well, does computer approve? No, it doesn't. So what would computer say? I believe that it should be going, well, okay, so it says changing the rooks, which in theory is okay, yeah. I know why, at least. Okay, we'll see how it goes. Now I believe this position is still move 16, and these guys are quite thinkers. They think a lot, but equally, I see that black's position is equally solid. So no, is there any case of getting there, just getting that somehow? Maybe like going that way or something. Checking. No, there's nothing here. What does computer say? And computer says +2, well, plus 0.2, which is nearly equal. Yeah, I think Jasmine is pretty much capable of holding that as black. Next, Isabel Ning. Well, here it comes. Black fully unfolded on the king's side, but if the king castles there, the question is what are we looking at? Still, black's position seems kind of more active, and so says the computer, -2. But I could have sworn it was more than that. Might be wrong, but I remember it was quite good. Okay, next. Oh, no, no, no. Nicholas Crowd won that chi. Oh my goodness, it was quite a quick defeat then. He plays quite fast sometimes, and I just not really, not even thinking. H6 is definitely not the move here. Going there, C3, taking, checking, going away. F6, why not F6? I don't understand. So going there, 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 there. This one we saw, so there's rook going there. Queen goes to b1, which we also saw. That was the first computer choice. So he goes to c4, which is also kind of why. Not really clear. So he takes there, taking here. Um, Here comes the combination check. He takes, queen goes there, going away, check goes away, and here I believe the king is stranded because he can give a check and bring another rook in, at least. Check goes there, rook brings, yeah, rook goes in, and checkmate is unavoidable. Wow, 23 move defeat, that's quite devastating. But I'm sure that Daichi will concentrate and try to win the next one because frankly Crowd is um, quite a strong opponent. Yeah, quite a strong opponent. Especially you shouldn't really be playing those kind of moves like h6. You have to know your opponent quite well in order to survive that against strong players. So here is like really unfortunate defeat, but good lesson to learn probably. Next, Kendrick playing against Anthony Kerr. This opening we saw, taking there, h3, going there. Bishop finally went somewhere else, attacking with tempo, which is also good. b6, alright. Now, those squares are just asking to be occupied, but what would that give? Black is okay now. Getting there, f4, yeah, bothering the knight for sure. Going there, now this is the nice stand for the knight. And the diagonal is open as well. So f4, okay. Changing the bishops. Oh, that's actually interesting. So now we are taking this thing out of that b. And in fact, yeah, we're still looking at f5 probably, and then maybe f6 or taking here. Yeah, that's the typical plan here. All right, we'll see how it all goes. Looks like yeah, Kendrick thinks a lot. So it's 27 minutes left on his clock, and it's only move 16. Not quite sure how he's gonna handle that, but he plays well in blitz, so he might handle that if he gets a winning position. So here we go. So whoa, that is already, yeah, that's typical Daniel, because that's quite fast. And we left our guys here somewhere, taking, exchanging everything. Okay, going d5. Maybe I would probably suggest to go there, maybe holding for that pawn and hoping to exchange everything. But still, I mean, yeah, what would this? I would check what the computer said, but what would they go? They are there, d5, taking. Now g7 is under attack. Um, Going there. He would take here with check for sure, yeah, and expose even more. So that's why d5 seemed to me not exactly correct, but we will check. Check, going away, taking, b6, going there, g3 was the last move, and here we've got two extra pawns without any compensation, no way to organize anything as they attack, so he just bothers the bishop now, but well, bishop can go anywhere, and yeah, just stand in a really nice position, just the pawn goes on. The pawn goes on, and I think it's yeah, it's done. So here I would just really like to see that kind of stuff here for yeah, exchanging in there, d5. I would go f6 in here, in fact. What would the computer recommend? Come on, Mr. Computer just jams now again. Not good for commenting. You realize that? Refreshing the screen. And I'm looking for the game of Thomas von der Horn against Daniel Gong. Computer, are you still there? No, computer is not there, so yeah, offline. Now Philly, well, definitely black is pressurizing here for sure. Look at this position, it's all jammed. That's how Russell plays usually. Mike Steedman, yeah, move 16, yeah, and it's really slow development. They maneuvering, they trying to. Oh, this is Daniel Van Ter. Yeah, I just wanted to check what where this guy was from. I forgot. Now Ewan McDougall here against Bob. I would say, well, Black is probably slightly better here, maybe, but still, yeah, nearly equal, I believe. Now here, Herman's pressurizing, but look, that's quite interesting stuff here. So he would go for that pawn for sure, that pawn. Yeah, White might not have enough counterplay here. I'm sure Herman would take control of that. I believe I would take that pawn first and potentially that one, but that one would go forward. But look, White is also not too bad here because he can move his pawn and try to create some of the attack here. Maybe, well, maybe Herman just plays on technicality here, so on technique. So here it is even better for, yeah, well, definitely it's better for White, all right, but not as to winning. It's still +1, but it's a long way to go. Now here, oh, by the way, since the computer is on, could you please give me assessment here, please? No? Okay, thank you. Now here against Leonardo. Oh, that was quite an intense game here. What happened there? F6 we saw. He goes. Ooh. What? So taking here, yeah, what would... So that was the... Well, hang on a second. So why would he take? What was the threat that he was afraid of? So taking, attacking there, yeah, going there, going there. He simply takes. What was that? I absolutely don't understand what happened in this game. So he went G6 instead. What the hell? Why wouldn't take? Indeed, why wouldn't take? What was so scary about that? So taking, maybe this check, yeah, so he goes away. So what? Taking here, just 6. That's it. Getting there, sure, taking. If you go that, if you go this way, check, just cover. Check here, just cover. Your rook up. My goodness, I don't understand what happened to this game. It's quite dramatic actually. That's quite dramatic. And I noticed that, well, sadly, Leo lately just blunders combinations quite a lot, or just simple tactics there. So yeah, that's horrible. Why wouldn't just take there? Maybe the board was not showing the correct moves or something. I'm just trying to understand here, but looks like it was, oh, yeah, G6. Now he goes H6, then D6, and that was the last move here. But my goodness, why would he take? What was he afraid of? Unclear really. So here, I've got to this position where, well, black is fine here, I believe. Black is fine, so he takes the pawn. We go in there for sure. Then he takes here. Oh, wow. Whoa. Counterattack. That's quite interesting. So taking here, right? So he takes, we take here, he takes, we take here. Maybe we've got 2 pieces for a rook. Not bad either. So maybe Oscar just blundered that. Well, still slight advantage to black here. But yeah, it is hard to... So he has to take, in fact. White will take here for sure. Then take here. Then we take here. And that is going to be played. Now here, what happened here, guys? So I just don't recall that particular one. Going there, taking... Okay, again there, yeah, d2, we saw that, yeah. So that one, taking more space here, taking here. If he takes here, we would need to go away, then he takes here. Well, actually, yeah, that's interesting. So he takes here. If we take here, he could even... No, we have to retreat. Otherwise, yeah, we have to go back somewhere. Maybe here. So we're taking there. The problem here is that the king's side is gonna be really, really weak here. The white's king side, yeah. So you have take like this here. We'll check how it all goes. So here we go. Okay, so this is +4. Definitely with the structure we said black would not really survive. He's trying to activate the bishop here, of course, but yeah. Now here Jonathan Davis against Joshua Langford, and this one seems like stabilized or something. It's this weird Caro-Kann that we saw. So f2, I'll just see again. There. Okay, now we got to this position. Am I mistaken or not? No, this one is actually under attack, so maybe going there with a threat to take here. Yeah, black is kind of probably more active in here, looks like. What does computer say? Yeah, definitely -1. So here we go. Right, brief overview now. So just going back to our puzzle here. And here we've got somewhere to move with the queen. And I am, guys, struggling with that because I can't really find what to do here. Shall I just go away here, maybe? So he takes. We're just still going there. And if he takes, we're still going there. He takes, I'm taking. Yeah, that's probably it. Here we go. Found it. Really paradoxical move, but I've forgotten about that square. And now if he takes, then we just go that way. If he takes, we just go that way. The queen is still pinned, and he has to get that one. And then we've got queen and the knight. Queen and knight for 2 rooks, which is definitely advantageous. Well done, Alex. So we've got more points. Not that many, but enough to get there. Right, so let's just quickly look at the games without the computer, of course. So here we've got quite a solid game. I've already checked the estimation, so it's +6 slight advantage to white, which is good. I wish how just to get safely to the draw or win for sure. Winning is even better, but just to be careful. Now here we've got Ben Hague against Jasmine. Still no big difference. Black has just captured the got to the open file. Not a big development here. This one I would just like to check. It is still okay-ish for white. Computer doesn't really react that quickly, unfortunately. but it will eventually. Looks like black is more active here for sure. Advancing the pawns here, but the king is slightly misplaced in the center, so um, Isabel is quite good at attacking the king actually. So we need black needs to be slightly more careful than he thinks. That he lost unfortunately. So here we got this another interesting game of um, what was that? Hang on a second. Oh, okay. I see the combination. So going there, he goes there. If black captures, he goes check and then captures here. So he's going for exchanging pieces, right? And if he goes away, we will probably just chase back or just go that way with the knight. He goes away when we still kind of exchanging that piece. Going there, then that pawn is going to be quite weak, but okay, what was the estimation here? So what I will do, guys, I will probably finish the stream soon. In the evening, I will go through the games to see the results and comment out. Just briefly, I wouldn't be going into that many details as I did now, and I also want to obviously solve some tactics if possible. So the computer is still frozen. Right, now go next one. Daniel Gong. Yeah, well, Daniel here is definitely pressurizing, and it's really hard for black to unfold. The pawn is just a killer, right? Unless there is any kind of saving combination whatsoever. But he seems like, yeah, I mean, white seems like under control. All the diagonals are under control in that, so black is definitely lost in here. We'll check the estimation. Now computer is not giving us that. Here we've already got some change, and it looks like the white's king is quite exposed, but he's got some of the defenses here as well. So, but it seemed to me like white defended here. I'm not sure. We'll see how it all goes. I will comment later on. Mike is still slowly developing and pressurizing. They will be really slow at building up the attacks whatsoever. Now here we've got black is going towards pawn push on the queen side. White will probably just go away with the knight, and it's really hard to get anywhere around. Maybe even going that way to protect d3 square. But this bishop here, the knight on d2 is a little bit misplaced. Not a lot of squares to go. So it looks like, well, black is playing for domination here. Because, yeah, the knights here are just jammed in their own pawns. Whereas black can just go forward and just develop that, his pieces. Yeah, I think black starts to take the grip of the position now. So here we go. White is desperately wanting to push the pawn, but black has already taken the f4. That's what I was saying. Now taking h4 as well, then just probably go behind that pawn, and black has got nothing to worry about. Those pawns are gonna be deciding h and f pawns. Now here, Leo is well, white's pieces have retreated. So he's got a little bit of a gulp of fresh air here, and maybe he will go for exchanges, but those pawns are, and the open king is a little bit um, dangerous. Hang on a second, where is the white's exchange? How did that happen? Oh, of course, he's taking that here in order to open the king. And now I think, well, black is doing quite well. Changing all the pieces here, yeah, but black is solid. Couple of checks maybe, but nothing serious. Maybe taking here. Well, yeah, that's what he's probably after. So giving this check, then taking on f6. But if he gives a check, we're going that way. There is no follow-up check in here. Oh, there is. There is taking, right? Taking here. So, despite of the missing exchange, I say that white is still okayish. Black wants to put the bishop onto here, which is changing more pieces, of course. And also potentially that is gonna be a threat here. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. But it looks like black starts to get the stabilize the position, let's just say. What happens here? Yeah, that's what we expected. So white has got two pieces for a rook. But it's really hard to unfold here. Maybe exchanging the dark square bishops to open the king. This knight here is definitely not a living piece. And the last one was here. Andrew Masters versus Ben Thomas. Looks like it is stabilizing, whatever. Hang on. Yeah, well, he moved here, wanting to change here. So if black takes, he takes here. If he takes, we just retake, right? So it's gonna be kind of a stabilized position here. What does black do? Probably just going away like this and then starting to fight for the d file. Looks like white is not too bad. I'm just, if computer would be so kind to show the result now, I would be really glad, but it looks like it is not really in there. Okay, we'll check it later anyways. Here, Edward Reigns is pressurizing black, and black is in this position which is going to be suffering forever. Now here we've got this weird Caro-Kann, but now looks like black is gradually taking control of the position. That pawn is weak, can't be predicted really. Those pawns are nicely placed, but what? So what? Right? Two bishops for black. Well, yeah, black has got an advantage here for sure. All right. So, oh, here we go. Daniel Gong has already won against Thomas. So that was the game where two pawns were white has got really nice pawn here that advanced. So yeah, that is definitely won. So here I'm just finishing my covering of New Zealand um, Chess Congress. We'll be doing that in the evening as well, just to briefly get over the results and so on to see the standings and that really briefly. And I will continue with solving tactics as usual. Pardon me for getting a lot of emphasis on that kind of tournament, but it is kind of the main event of New Zealand Chess Live during a year. So I'll be doing that for sure. Okay, so thank you everybody who was watching and will be watching. I hope you will enjoy. Um, and I could probably give you the link of that tournament as well. So it is going to be Congress. If I look at the broadcast, I will give you the link here in the chat if you'd like to see that. Um, Here in the chat, so you can click it. I don't know if it allows to click, but nevertheless, it is called 130th New Zealand Championship or Congress, as it was called before. All right, so I'll see you in the evening, and until then, thank you again for watching, or will to everybody who will be watching that, and I see you later. Take care, and bye bye.